What's going on, Faded Culture? My name is Sergio Barron, and today I'm gonna show y'all step by step how to do a simple mid fade for beginners. So let's get right into it. So y'all wanna know how to double y'all's money as a barber?
Haircut looks good, but you're sending your client home with no product.
We're barbers looking out for barbers. Now imagine making a few extra $100 a week, but not from doing more haircuts, simply just styling your clients with a high quality product.
For all you barbers, we're officially offering our matte clay at wholesale, where you're gonna be able to double your money. So if you're ready, head over to fadedculture.com.
I am gonna make sure that I groom everything down first, and before I even start, you want to learn how to visually already picture the haircut on the hair, so you have like good reference points of where you're gonna set in your guides so that you're not kind of winging it. So this is a good idea to where you have your client either show you a picture or you have already a gallery of different style of haircuts, so you have a good understanding of where the fade starts and where the fade ends. So on this haircut, I'm gonna go ahead and do the fade work first, and then I'll do the shear work after. Usually whenever the hair is really long, that's when I'll consider doing the shear work first. But in this case, I feel like I can go ahead and do the fade first and then do a slight trim on top after. Once I do the shear work, it's not gonna affect so much the fade. But if the hair is too long on top, then doing the fade first and then the shear work after can affect your fade. So no, just keep that in mind. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start with the 3 lever open, and I'm gonna locate where the head starts to round, right there where the comb starts to leave the head. So that's basically where I'm gonna flare out with my 3 lever open. Once I get to the back, you see that it flares out more so towards the bottom. So that's where I'm gonna flare out as well. So my fade is gonna drop as I reach towards the back, and that's kind of the angle that I'm gonna follow with my 3 lever open. So before the head starts to round, you'll notice that I'm throwing the clipper out so that I don't dig in too much into this part of the head. So in a sense here, I'm debulking and I'm setting up where my fade is gonna end. I'm basically working both of those 2 things simultaneously. And you can use your comb to help feed the hair into the clipper. Now this is where I set my fade to end. I'm basically gonna continue debulking in the area where I'm gonna set in my border guideline. So with the 1.5 lever still fully open, I'm gonna continue to remove weight right here underneath. Still using the same concept of flaring out before I get to where I will end it with the 3, just so that I don't create any hard lines up there. Now I have a clear workspace to kind of see where I'm gonna set in my guideline setup. and I'm not winging it, working with too much hair. So now I'm gonna go ahead and set in my first guide using more trimmers. And keep in mind that as I'm setting in my guides, I don't want to be too stiff with it and potentially leave hard lines. When I'm setting up my guidelines, I want you to understand that I'm setting up guides. I don't want to emphasize too much on lines, because a problem that I do see a lot of barbers do is when they're thinking too much in lines, they're thinking that they want to create a sharp line, but that in turn will kind of be a little too hard to come back and blend out after. So when you're setting up a guide, think more so that you're already starting to blend. So as you're setting in a guide, still have that little flare out motion towards the end so that you can leave a soft guide. You're setting in soft guides just so you have a clear map of how to approach your fade. And then also, when you're setting in a guide, don't just move right there. Like if I know I want to set my guide right there, don't start right at the line, because then you're gonna go higher. Start before, give yourself room, and then by the time you get to where you know your line wants to be at, that's when you're gonna flare out. And that's how you leave a soft guide, as opposed to just starting at that line. So in this case, I'll start down here. I know I want to set my line there, and by the time I get to it, I flare out. And then another thing, since this first line is the most important one, I want you to set reference points before you meet that line on the opposite end, because you want that line to be even. I don't want you to get to the other side and realize after that your line is slanted. So what I like to teach is set in your guide right here, referencing the temple peak. I know the temple peak is somewhere in this area. There's the vertical line somewhere there, and then it curves here. So at the bottom of that curve, I'll set in my first guide. Then I'll move or turn the chair towards the back. Set in a guide where I want my fade to start back here. Then I'll find like a middle point between these two spots. Set in a guide as well. And then basically you just meet them. You're just playing connect the dots with your guideline. But you're going to want to do that all around the head. So in the beginning, you'll set in your guide on both fronts, and then the middle, and then the back, and then you just play connect the dots. That way you can ensure that you have a straight first guide. Now I'm gonna open the lever on the clipper and come up just about a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch above that line. Still using the same principle of flaring out as I reach the ending of this guide. Now I'm gonna use the number 1 guard. I'm gonna still leave that lever open and come up about another 1/2 inch. All I'm doing is following the previous line. I'm gonna go ahead and use the 1.5 guard, lever open. Continue doing the same thing. This time, since I am already close to where my fade ends, I'm gonna flare out a little bit more and I'm not gonna move up as much. So I'm thinking like 1/4 inch in space, just kind of trying to connect this last guide up top, or this dark area right here that you see, to this bulk right here. And now I'm gonna go ahead and use the 3 guard lever open again, but this time I'm really gonna refine anything that I had did in the beginning now that I set in most of my fade. Now, once we get to this top area, if we weren't able to establish the connection with that 3 guard lever open, we're gonna go ahead and use clipper over comb. So when you're putting your comb in, you still wanna keep this outward angle just to kind of preserve length right here. So you're not gonna put it in too straight or angle the comb with the shape of his head. You wanna imitate almost as if you're coming up as a square, and then anything that hangs over is what we'll cut. So now we pretty much have our fade set up, our guide set up. Now we can go ahead and start blending out any guides that we created to really achieve that blend that we're looking for. So I'm gonna start off by blending out that middle line that you see right there. Starting out with my half clip, and I'm gonna position the lever at 3/4. So that's open, and then close it just a tad bit. So it's somewhere in between all the way open and halfway. And using the corner of that guard, I'm gonna go ahead and start softening up that line right there without creating any more hard lines above. Now, if you do happen to create another hard line above, we'll come back in with the higher guard to finish taking it out instead of chasing it with this one and potentially taking the fade up too high. So just be soft with it. The mindset should be blending out, not creating any more guides. And then also when you're fading, I don't want you to spend too much time in one area. So if for whatever reason this guard is not taking it out 100%, but it's at least maybe like 80%, so like see in these areas, I could still see that I didn't take it out 100%, but I still moved on. That's good enough because I don't want you to take too long in one area. I want to basically get you in the mindset of set in the whole haircut. Then at the end, we can come back and do detail work. It's a lot less stressful that way because you don't want to be into the haircut 1 hour and you're still working on one side by the time you're looking at the clock, especially in the beginning, because if you're practicing on people or people are letting you or giving you their time to practice, they're not gonna want to come back and let you practice on their hair if they're having to sit down for 3 to 4 hours. So just kind of keep that in mind. ahead and grab that one guard. I'm gonna still leave that lever at that 3/4 spot and then just continue blending out anything that half guard couldn't take out. Make sure that you're continuously kind of taking a step back or utilizing your mirror to really help you point out any dark areas that maybe the bald eye can't see. So take breaks in between and reset yourself. And boom, now we're left with this last guide right there. Now it is a 3-step process to take out that line. So starting with the clipper lever closed, then I open it to that 3/4 spot and then fully open as I gradually move up on that line. Keep in mind though that the challenge is that if you can't take it out with just the clipper lever closed, then boom, you're good to move on, right? But those other lever positions are there in case you need them, so you can utilize them to help you take out the guidelines. And then I'm only gonna focus on a small, like about 2 to 3 inches in space at a time, so that I'm not kind of getting overwhelmed with all the lever positions. For the most part, I feel like that took it out. I'm gonna go ahead and open it to a 3/4 spot, still just to kind of clean it up a little bit more. But I don't feel like I need to open it all the way to finish taking out that line. Keep in mind that usually it works out like that. Towards the front, the hair is a lot thinner or not as dense, so it's easier to blend out. But when you get towards the back, it tends to get a lot more dense, meaning there's more hair, so typically you'll have to use all 3 lever positions. But now starting right behind the ear, doing the exact same process. Open that lever to that 3/4 spot and then just move a little bit higher and then blend wherever you feel that it's dark or that you need to soften up. And then I'll open it all the way just to touch up any little areas that look inconsistent. The idea is to try to make this spot look like this spot, then you have this spot to look like this spot, and so forth. And again, same principle, don't take too long, just move through it, finish the haircut, and then we'll come back and do any touch-up work. Now focus right here. Damn, my back hurts still. That's what happens when you cut hair for 20 years. Mid-cut, I'm gonna do a yoga pose. We need New Balance to sponsor us. If you're watching this, we need your shoes. We're hurting. So now I can go ahead and start removing the rest of this bottom bulk so we can shave it. Always start, obviously if they don't have a beard, get all the peach fuzz around their ear. That way it just looks cleaner. And then as I get to the top of this hair that I'm taking out or removing right now, flare out as well. That way you leave yourself a guide so that that electric shaver, you're not taking it up too high and potentially creating any more guidelines into the fade. So you can kind of faintly see right there where it ended, and that's basically where I'm gonna take up my electric shaver to, right there. Now with this shaver, I'm also using it as it is a pair clipper. So I'm barely only using like this corner, and I'm flaring out as I reach that top part of that bulk that we took out earlier. Anything else underneath, I can press I can afford to press a little harder to really get it down to the skin, because I'm not worried about creating any lines down there. It's only more so closer to the fade that I gotta flare out. I'm barely even holding it with like 3 fingers, being real soft with it. It helps you take out the bottom hair without creating guidelines when you hold it with less pressure. And then like I said, underneath, you can press a little harder. And I like to feel with like the back of my finger just to really see if, or what direction I gotta take the shaver to really shave out that stubble. All right, so now that we did the fade, I'm gonna go ahead and start the shear work on top. I'm basically gonna keep the same shape, just add a little bit more layers, add some texture, probably shorten it more internally, like around here. And then I'm also gonna shorten the bangs, the fringe a little bit more, because I am gonna edge it up. First, basically what I'm doing is just sectioning off the top, the back, and the sides. I wanna focus on one panel at a time. So for the side, I wanna just make sure that nothing else, I know for the most part we already did it with the 3, but with the shears, I'm able to be a little bit more precise. So I'm gonna just make sure that nothing else is still overhanging. Clean that up. Same thing with the back. Remember, for the most part, we already did all of this with the number 3. So it should be real minimal with your cleaning up. Right here, there's nothing. So now I can move at the top. I'm gonna pull a center profile section, about a comb's width. Gonna do like a bring it out just so I have some hair to play with when it comes to styling. Use that center. Now I'm basically just gonna take horizontal sections and I'm gonna lift. This is where I'm gonna choose the shape, right? Right here in the back. I can either go round, connect the shortest, longest piece there to that one, or I can pick up my fingers so that I have more of a square shape, leaving more length right here on these corners. I'm gonna leave it a little bit more square, but adding texture to the top. And I'm basically just pulling sections about a comb's width on the side, all until I reach the front. Now I'm gonna go ahead and repart out that middle section so that I can use it as a guide to finish cutting this left side over here. And same thing, trying to keep my angle square to leave more length over here. Now I am gonna soften up the front a little bit since I'm gonna edge it up. So I'm gonna just shear over comb by elevating this hair. Yeah, so I'm just kind of continuing to taper out the front with like a 4-guard. Just so that I'm not having to deal with so much hair when I'm edging them up. Now I can set in my edge up. Now turn your head this way towards me and pick your head up a little bit. Comb everything down, find wherever my reference point is going to be in the middle, and set in my first line. And the same thing with like the fade, you can go ahead and set in reference points. So set in your middle line, your vertical bars, and then kind of play connect the dots. So for the most part, I don't like to push hairlines back, but I don't like to leave them too natural to where the line doesn't look sharp. With experience, you have to kind of learn how to visually see where you want to set in that line. As long as there's not a lot of regrowth, there's always going to be regrowth in haircuts, right? That just means the client needs a new haircut. I don't like to push it too much, but I don't leave it too natural either because I want the lineup to look sharp. So like right here, you can see that it doesn't start getting dark down, like it'll get dark up here, but down here it's real light. So I find the darkest part on the light part of the vertical bar, so it's a little bit more back, and then I'll use that as my reference point. Then just go back, take your time, and just refine that line up as clean and as sharp as you can. I'm gonna quickly use my straight razor to shave out the front just to get that line up to pop. Now this is where you gotta be real careful that you don't push the line up that you already set with your trimmer. All you gotta do is follow whatever lines you set with your trimmer. With your opposite hand, I'm always pulling tension, basically to stretch the skin so that the blade can slide a lot easier than if you weren't. And remember, the tension always comes from the back side of the razor. I never really put my finger in front to create tension. It's always on the back of this brace. No matter what, if I'm reverse shaving, I'm always in the back side. Again, since I'm reverse shaving, again, from the back side. This is how you get that edge up to look the cleanest, is when you reverse shave against the grain to get your shave to be as clean as possible. Now the haircut is pretty much done here. This is where I'll go back and do my touch-up work. So I'll assess it as like one side at a time. First I'll focus on this side right here and then just kind of get a good look. Use the mirror if you have a mirror. Take a step back and just see if there's any inconsistencies in the fade that you can blend out. Off the back, all I see on this side for the most part is this bulk line on top. I could probably refine it with my thinning shear, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And if y'all are in the market for a set, we do have them at fadedculture.com. Comes with the thinning shears and the 6-inch cutting shear. And then I'm just refining any of this bulk that's hanging over so that it don't look so dark. Fade maybe right there. There's a little dark spot that I'll probably touch up. Like I said in the beginning, it's just about getting the haircut down, setting in your steps, blending out your guides. Once you have the haircut down, kind of keeping that in mind that you don't want to have your client sitting down too long. However much more detail you want to add to that cut is on you. So assess it and touch it up. And if you need a visual picture, bring that back out on your phone so you can have an idea of what you're aiming towards. Add a little bit of texture on top now that the hair is a little bit dry by just doing some deep point cuts. This part is optional, but I am gonna use a little bit of enhancements right here on the edges, just more so towards the top, just to help that lineup pop a little stronger. And we do have our enhancement card. This one's already all sprayed on. You see the F is missing. But yeah, you can adjust it to beards, any kind of lineup. We have it at fadedculture.com. So now I'm gonna go ahead and style his haircut using our Faded Culture matte clay. Again, barbers, y'all can get it wholesale at fadedculture.com, so y'all can supply y'all's clients with a quality product that they can trust and that you can stand by. All I need is about a dime size amount. Emulsify it into your hands really well. The idea is that you're gonna feel it tacky on your hands, but you're not gonna see it. I'd prefer that you start with a small amount and then work your way up if you need more product. But start with like less than a dime size. You don't want this big old chunk of product, and just work it into the hair. And you start seeing all that texture that we cut come out. The idea is that you want to work it down all the way into the root, not just on top, because if it's just on top, it's gonna just weigh down. You want to scrunch it in there. So first I'll take my time, scrunch it in there, and then I'll start styling the hair in whatever way that I want it to sit. I'm gonna grab a little bit more just to flatten out wherever the fade sits. I like to just press down in those areas. And all I'm doing is styling the hair and just teasing it until you find a desired style that you and your client are comfortable with. So I'm pretty good with it there, and we're done.